A rose-hued sprite is found on the Argentine plains. This fae surfs the rippling waves of xeric sands past the islands of desert scrub. A pointed nose cuts a channel through the substrate, while paddle claws turn soil into wake. The pink fairy armadillo is no trickster or magician, just a well-equipped creature for the subterranean life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy at your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. And a very special thank you to our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on. If you would like to donate, just visit patreon.com/ldtaxonomy or click on donate on our website.
And today we're talking about an armadillo that's having wicked dreams of leaving Tennessee, but more on that later.
You're going to have to explain that reference.
What are we talking about?
We are talking about the pink fairy armadillo.
Well, the Pink Pony Club is a song that the kids are singing these days.
Why?
Why are they singing it?
Yeah, what? The Pink Pony Club. Is that a brony thing?
No, it's probably just the name of a song from a pop star.
Okay, the Pink Pony Club. I have to keep my ears out for it next time I'm at Publix.
It's not
which I'm sure they're playing
good
at Publix. But yeah, this is one of those animals where as soon as the first time I heard about it, I was like, yeah, that's not a real animal. And then when I saw a picture of it, I was like, yeah, that's not real. Also, like,
confirmed, not real. But it is real.
Yeah, as we'll get into it, it is real and it is weird. But I kind of like it. So it's also known as the fairy armadillo, the sand swimmer, and pichiciego. Okay. But we're gonna call it here Blitzburrow and chickenfoot, because I've looked at a lot of pictures of this thing and I cannot get the phrase chickenfoot out of my head, which was a band from the early 2000s featuring Joe Satriani and Sammy Hagar, which is pretty good. But let's taxonomize this, shall we? It's in a kingdom you know, love, and are in. That kingdom is Animalia. The phylum is Chordata. The class, Mammalia. It is an armadillo. The order is Cingulata. The family is Clamophoridae. The subfamily is Clamophorinae. Subfamilies often just kind of change that D to an N and call it a day. Or call it a nay. Who knows? The genus is Clamophorus, and the species is Truncatus. So, the binomial nomenclature is Clamophorus truncatus, and since we are in the business of naming things, it's time for my favorite part of the show, and the listener's favorite part of the show, nitty-gritty nomenclature, the part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question, and that is, what is the English translation for the binomial nomenclature for this animal, which in this case is Clamophorus truncatus? What does that mean in English? Does it mean A, mutilated cloak bearer, B, armored burrower, C, pink short one, or D, little armor holes?
Pink short one, final answer.
That is incorrect. The answer is mutilated cloak bearer.
Terrible.
The Greek klemis means cloak. Phoros means bearing, cloak bearing. And then truncatus is Latin for mutilated, cut down, or maimed. Which, if you look at a picture of this, it does look like half an armadillo.
Yeah.
If there was an armadillo that had 6 legs,
Yeah.
this looks like you cut it off just after that second set of legs. But I mean, let's not hold back anymore. Let's talk about what this thing looks like, because I'm sure everyone's dying to know if you haven't looked it up already. It looks when you first hear about it, I thought it was just gonna look like it's just a normal armadillo, but you found the 1 in 4096 shiny version in Pokemon. But it's there's more to it than that. It looks like an armadillo crossed with a shrimp, crossed with a mole, with chicken feet, hence the chicken foot name. It has these pale pink armor plates. It's those sectioned scale armor thing. I don't know what it's called. That you see on an armadillo, the coating, the plates. It's all layered on top of each other. It goes all the way down to the end. Except for instead of like a normal armadillo, which like kind of tapers off like a bike helmet into a tail, this just cuts off like you just took that big giant cooking knife from the Little Mermaid chef guy and just got him.
Yeah, like each plate is longer and longer and longer and longer, and then it just stops.
And then it ends. Yeah. It's very pink. In some pictures it's a little pinker than others, so I'm not sure how doctored some of these images are. A lot of the images you're going to see are of a taxidermied specimen, and then the rest of them and then a bunch of other ones are going to be toys. Like I didn't want to see toys. I want to see the actual animal. But the actual animal is pink. The color of its weird mole pink claws that like a mouse would have is the same color as its carapace. That is the word I was looking for. Carapace. The underside of it has white with white fur. It has these beady black eyes. That carapace, by the way, extends all the way down to its brow, where then it continues on down its nose on a different looking pink plate. It goes all the way down to its down the ridge of its nose to the end. So it is pretty protected. Allows it to be pretty streamlined. It has very large, also pink claws. That if you're imagining a mole's claws, you're right on target because it's just big mole claws. So it has armadillo DNA, but it's pretty much a mole in terms of the way that it looks. And then its back feet look like chicken legs, at least to me.
It's truly bizarre.
Yeah. It is pretty small. It is the smallest of the armadillos. But how small is it, Joe?
Great question. Welcome to the Beloved Measure Up segment, the official listeners part of the show. The part of the show when we present the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz that's fun for the whole family. It's also part of the show that's introduced by you when you send in an audio of yourself saying, singing, or chittering the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new measure up intro this week, but that means we get to hear from an animal. Carlos has to guess what it is.
Hopefully it's a pink fairy armadillo.
Yeah, it can only be that.
Yeah, there are a dime a dozen in pop culture, so just take your pick.
All right, without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show. Okay, so it's not the horse sounds or the people sounds. It's the squeaking sounds. Could you hear any of that?
I once again did not hear any of that.
I
So
can't stand noise gates against my consent.
non-consensual noise gates are
Think of the
should be the next thing that goes through Congress.
what's an armadillo from a animated
From
thing
pop
that you
culture.
definitely have seen and enjoyed?
An armadillo from an animated thing. Is it The Road to El Dorado?
That's correct.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Yeah, I was playing the scene where they need to come up with some sort of like sign, and they're like arguing, and a volcano goes off randomly.
That is the weirdest part of the movie. If that volcano hadn't gone off, the rest of the movie wouldn't happen. And it's like, why did that happen? The whole movie hinges on on this ruse that was validated by this volcano erupting and then, I don't know, sucking itself back in, like volcanoes never do. So I don't know. It is there at the end of the movie. There's a giant stone jaguar that attacks everybody, but the volcano erupting is the weirdest part.
Yeah. But anyway, that's a regular armadillo. I almost said a real armadillo. That's a typical armadillo, though.
Right. We have a lot of
hemisphere.
armadillos here in Jacksonville. They are all over the place, and I mostly see dead ones because they are not fast.
Not faster than cars.
Not faster than cars. But their armor is not good against cars. They didn't spec against cars.
They're weak to car.
Yeah. And they're fairy type. And fairy, fairy has two weaknesses: poison and steel. What do you know? Even though cars aren't really made out of steel. Unless it's a cyber truck.
Let's talk about their length. They can be up to 6 inches. But that seems like the very upper end of average. Like if you look at pictures, they look very small. 6 inches, right? That's like your forearm. No, that's a foot. So it's like half of that. So how many pink fairy armadillos fit into the following things? Or which one of these is correct? I have not found a concise way to ask this question. Is it A, 1 goes into the height of a mate gourd? B, 3 go into the length of a Patagonian mara? Or
Okay.
C, 10 go into the width of a gaucho's boladoras? Baleadoras?
Well, I remember the Patagonian Mara. We covered that one.
Well, yeah. Well, that's you can listen to a whole episode about that. Or the mate gourd is a traditional Argentine gourd, which is it's like I don't know what they mean by gourd because it's a cup. It's used for drinking yerba mate.
Did they make it out of a gourd?
I don't know. But if you look up a mate gourd, you're not going to see vegetables. You're going to see a cup. I guess gourd can also mean... But it's a cup that's sort of shaped like...
A gourd?
A gourd.
What's the last thing? What's the Bolataro or whatever?
Baleadoras.
That one.
A traditional throwing weapon used by Argentine gauchos.
Is it like a...
Yeah, Gauchos.
Yep.
Gauchos.
Is it like a bolus?
Yeah, it's weights on cords.
That is a bolus. That one. Final answer.
The correct answer is One goes into the height of a mate gourd.
Ah.
It's about 6 inches. Let's talk about their weight. The pink fairy armadillo weighs approximately 150 grams, or 0.3 pounds. Again, seems kind of large for some of the pictures I'm seeing. But how many armadillos fit into these things? Which one of these is correct?
Compares to these things.
Yeah. Correctly compares to these things. A, 4 go into the weight of an Argentine asado steak. B, 140 go into the weight of a Malbec wine barrel. Or C, 4 go into the weight of a Rhea egg.
The steak.
Final answer.
Final answer. Yeah.
The correct answer was the Rhea egg. 4.
What? There's an egg that's like 1.5 pounds?
A Rhea is like a Argentinian.
A raya?
Yeah, it's
Una
like
raya?
it's almost like an ostrich. Rhea.
Oh, I didn't know about that animal. How about that bird?
Argentina
Bird,
has
big eggs.
Isn't Patagonia is in Argentina, and everyone knows. Patagonia's
is
got
weird.
some weird stuff on it.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if this is from Patagonia.
It also makes expensive outerwear.
Why is there just a random ostrich in Argentina? How did it get there?
Who put it there?
Did it come?
What about the cassowary?
Yeah. Well, cassowary, at least if you look at it, it looks completely different. This looks like an emu. This looks like an ostrich.
It's we were all on one continent, and there was one giant bird, and it made a bunch of other giant birds, and then the continents left each other because they couldn't stand to be close to each other anymore, and so the birds left.
Where is an emu from? Australia has 2 of these? 2 different ones? Why? Why are they specking into emus?
Why are there? Why everything in the ocean is turning into crabs, and everything on land is turning into emus?
3 things, but 4 things really.
If you're a bird, being the size of an emu helps to not die.
Mm-hmm.
Because they also run really fast. I was watching just randomly, like a couple nights ago, Bibby just showed me this video of this emu that is like a household pet, and it was playing with a bunch of dogs and like jumping around and racing with them, and it was weird. It was weird to see this Jim Henson animal
an actual
like hopping
bird
around and running with dogs at the speed of light. That thing is so fast.
Do you have any fast facts before we get into the major fact?
I do. Okay, so as you mentioned, this is an animal from Argentina. It likes central western Argentina, the Patagonian region, dry grasslands, sandy plains. It likes arid areas. People don't often think of South America as having arid regions, but there's a huge portion of it that is just basically desert. And that's where this guy lives. It likes to dig, so obviously loose soil is good. It likes to eat the pink fairy armadillo likes to eat ants, worms, snails, plant roots, underground stuff. They are solitary most of the time. They will pair up, obviously, for mating. You need that. But they don't live in large groups. They have been noted to live for about 5 to 10 years in the wild, provided they don't become anyone's snack. And those things that might snack on them are owls, hawks, snakes, the like. And their armor does not just protect them. It's not just for show. It helps them regulate their body temperature in the desert heat. So, and also the coloration reflects light to make it to also keep it cool in the heat. So, I will leave it at that. Do you have any major facts, sir?
Sure. Unlike other armadillos with rigid, tightly fused, bony plates made for tanking cars, I mean, it's my favorite Snow Patrol song, but
let's waste time tanking cars.
The pink fairy armadillo's dorsal armor is composed of thin, flexible osteoderms, which are bony plates, covered by a layer of silky, translucent skin. This creates a double layer design that allows the armor to move independently of the body, facilitating fluid movement through loose, sandy soil. So, if you've ever had, like, I always think about it because I saw it at the Air and Space Museum, but it was like a tube that was like full of jello, like gel, and it was folded in on itself.
Oh yeah, the kids play with those all the time.
Yeah, and if you it's hard to if you hold it like up and down, it'll slide out of your hands because of similar idea. Like there's two layers that slide along each other freely. So
if you try to hold this guy, he's just gonna literally turn inside out on you.
Not quite,
it's gonna
but
be
almost. It'll probably
it's gonna be horrifying.
The outer skin is loosely attached to the underlying tissue, reducing friction as the armadillo, quote unquote, swims through sand, much like a seal moves through water. This minimizes energy expenditure during burrow digging and also makes you go through the sand like Shai Hulud, like an actual sandworm. My dune, my Arrakis, my pink fairy armadillo.
My dune.
The underside has no bony plates, covered instead with that hairy, furry skin. It's also like way furrier than you think for an armadillo, because the armadillos you usually think of have that sparse, nasty skin. Also, I'm seeing a picture of the foot you think looks like a chicken foot. I think it looks like a skeleton's hand or a skeleton's foot. It looks like a dead foot. Although I am looking at what could be a taxidermied specimen, in which case it is a dead foot.
Yeah, were a lot of pictures of the same taxidermied specimen. I'm looking at a picture of one running, like a real one running, and it looks like a chicken foot to me. But Deadfoot would have also arguably been a better name for that band anyway. So,
so the ventral skin's elasticity allows it to squeeze into tight spaces through narrow tunnels and small openings. It also protects its internal organs during rapid digging, absorbing pressure from the surrounding soil. Its front limbs are extremely large, like a mole's, flattened with claws. It's like shovel shaped almost, with its like wide, like a spoon. Which they're also disproportionately strong. Apparently, these claws slice through sand with minimal resistance, allowing the armadillo to dig tunnels at extreme speeds, capable of burying itself within seconds when threatened. The forelimb works in a breaststroke-like motion, like swimming, and propels the armadillo through the sand. Well, I would like to find a video of this. I wish I could see under dirt so I could see this.
That would be a
happening.
very hard thing to get a video of, unless you had it like in one of those ant terrariums.
Yes.
And you could watch the tunnel it makes.
It also has a torpedo shape. It's like thin in the front. Nose comes to a little point and then it tapers off, and it's like a bullet shape. But like it looks like Bullet Bill. And its blunt snout acts like a plow, loosening soil as it moves, while the flexible armor prevents sand from jamming against the body. So it just slides through. And the loose attachment of its armor makes its body able to undulate in a swimming motion, and it swims through the desert. I wonder, it probably wouldn't work as well. Sand is it's uniquely benefited by sand, its sand environment. The armadillo seals tunnel entrances with loose soil to conceal its location from predators like dogs or hawks. Its hind limbs flatten and flattened tail tamp down the dirt, creating a smooth barrier that blends in with the surface. It constructs temporary foraging tunnels and deeper permanent burrows. It's bullet shaped. It's like, if you look at it from the back, it's just like a flat armored butt. So I could probably just like drill into a hole, and then you wouldn't be able to get to it. It drills into the hole and plugs the hole at the same time.
It's like you were making, again, like a 6-legged, like weasel length armadillo thing, and you just ran out of funding and decided to release anyway.
Mm-hmm. The rest of this armadillo is coming with DLC.
Yes. Release it later in a day one patch.
But yeah, they prefer dry soil. I would imagine in moister soil they would get bogged up. They would get stuck in their fur and stuff like that.
Or drown. How do they breathe?
Probably how anything breathes underground. They just like dig little air pockets for themselves.
Yeah, but especially if they seal the entrance behind them, they close themselves in. I mean, I imagine it's not airtight, but still, you run out of oxygen quickly. It's not this guy.
Maybe they don't need much.
I am picturing him like doing a swan dive into the sand dunes and swimming around and then coming up and like breaching, which is adorable.
Man,
this little like 4-inch breaching pink hedgehog.
You're getting
He's like,
yeah, like if you tap on the sand.
Yeah, or like in The Last Airbender, you like play the right notes on a little flute, and then they just come like popping up.
There are so many AI garbage. There's so much AI garbage of this. Like something that doesn't look anything like it. And I'm seeing like stock photo websites selling AI pictures. What's the point of that? The whole point of AI pictures is that you can get it for free really easily, really quickly.
You can generate them for free. Well, they got a good prompt down. You're buying the prompt, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like the real armadillo at all. It looks like a Pokemon.
It does take money away from real armadillos, though.
Yes.
So we got to be careful with the AI images, because they need to make a living too.
But that's all I got.
All right. Well, that is the pink fairy armadillo. For you out there in Podcastia, hermit up, armor up, and burrow down feverishly into the sand like the pink fairy armadillo, here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we have a Patreon that you can find by going to ldtaxonomy.com/donate. All of our episodes are uploaded there. Sign up for free to engage with us, leave episode suggestions, or chat with other animal enthusiasts. If you find it in your heart to donate, it will help us cover some costs and continue to make the show. Plus, we'll thank you every week. Most importantly, thank you all for listening.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
Don't look at the back feet ever. If you want to respect this animal, it's truly disgusting.